Welcome to New Light Living Podcast. I'm Ulrika Sullivan. I'm an intuitive spiritual life coach and a galactic astrologer. This video is a galactic astrology reading of the Sagittarius full moon at 9 degrees 56 minutes on May 31st, 2026. Welcome. What I do in these videos, I put an outer layer of fixed star celestial bodies and galactic points to the traditional Western tropical astrology wheel. And that is to help us dive into our multidimensional energies, both personally and collectively. And this Sagittarius full moon is a blue moon, which is when 2 full moons happens in a single month. And the last blue moon in Sagittarius was 19 years ago to the day, which was May 31st, 2007. And in general, blue moons happen every 2 to 3 years in a sign. And it also means that it's quite rare. So this blue moon in Sagittarius is one to pay attention to. And in this video, you'll receive 3 energetic themes that I've pulled out from the full moon chart. And also at the end, 3 questions should you want to integrate the Sagittarius full moon. This blue moon, some more. This full moon is conjunct the Stargate. And Sagittarius includes the Stargate located at 10 degrees of Sagittarius and Gemini, respectively, and with the royal stars Scorpius Antares at 10 degrees of Sagittarius and Taurus Aldebaran at 10 degrees of Gemini. And this alignment with the Stargate is the rare occasion. And this full moon in Sagittarius is a expansive full moon because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is the ruling planet of this Sagittarius full moon. And Jupiter is now at 23 degrees of Cancer, conjunct Canis Minor Procyon at 26 degrees of Cancer. Very intuitive, very expansive. So this full moon is all about our expansion into a multidimensional perspective. And I talk a lot about multidimensionality. Now is the time where we are more likely to come into alignment with insights that are meant for us at a multidimensional level. Many of us are curious about our soul's journey, and that is a vast journey over eons of time. More and more people are tapping into their soul journey and their multidimensional energies to understand more about this life, this incarnation, ultimately. Our soul's journey is really a journey of multiple incarnations, identities, situations, energies that our soul have decided to experience and work through, primarily lessons, but also breakthroughs where our soul have significantly expanded through experiences as a soul and navigating energies that are associated with breakthroughs. And I sense that this Sagittarius full moon is such a breakthrough aligned with the Stargate. It's a prime time for expansion. And this full moon is a portal for connecting with a higher perspective, higher consciousness that we're now ready for. This Sagittarius full moon is a journey. We are likely tapping into wisdom that is helping us to understand more about our soul's journey and allowing us to witness ourselves as multidimensional. And what that means is that we may be able to relate to lifetimes beyond this life and also seeking understanding from other lifetimes that also are linked into repeating patterns, for example, that our soul is working through and in this life is ready for a breakthrough. This Sagittarius full moon is an opportune time to connect deep with our soul essence and maybe even coming into insights that we haven't come across before. Because this time in 2026 in May is a time of breakthroughs for sure. Our soul essence is connect to universal wisdom. And the more we understand about our purest self, the more we connect with universal wisdom. And many of us are now ready to connect with higher consciousness, to channel that universal space, to further express our soul essence more clearly. So this Sagittarius full moon is full of inspiration, and it's up to us to grab it and express it and allowing it to come from within. This full moon is one of celebration also, and allowing that unique soul essence to shine through even more. And the vehicle for that is to gain a higher perspective, a multidimensional perspective of who we truly are. And this Sagittarius full moon is a beautiful connection with the Stargate that amplifies. And I wouldn't be surprised if many of us are receiving such clarity through that alignment with the Stargate, downloads and also breakthroughs in a way, as we will see further into this video. The second half of 2026 will be quite different from what we have experienced any time before. So now we are getting prepared to stay in alignment with our own sense of inner abundance, our inner belief and faith in what we can do and what is the possibility for us. We're also getting prepared to walk through life with a much bigger perspective than any generation before. So this is an exciting time because it feels still that we are in preparation for something bigger. But this is Sagittarius blue moon. The full moon here on May 31st is definitely in alignment to that. Are you curious about your own galactic alignments? Download my Galactic Alignments reference guide. There's a link in the pinned comment and description box below. Before we go into the full moon chart, I'd like to share what the energetic themes are in this video. The first energetic theme is expanded Stargate connection. And here we're going to talk about Andromeda-Titawin, asteroid Karma, and dwarf planet Varuna. The second energetic theme is a time for crossroads. And here we're going to talk about the North Node's conjunction with asteroid Hermes, and also a square to Ceres, Uranus, and Sedna. The third energetic theme I've called a balancing act. And here we're going to talk about the Venus-Saturn square. Venus is conjunct fixed star Sirius. We're also going to talk about a pattern that I see that is very harmonic. And we're also going to dive into this chart a little bit more of the harmonious energy that I see in this full moon chart. We also have Chiron conjunct Andromeda galaxy now, sextiling Mercury conjunct Orion Betelgeuse. So there's a whole pattern here in this chart that we will dive deeper into in the members only video as well. And the members only video I've called Messages of Harmony. So look forward to that. All right, are you ready for the full moon chart next? Let's dive in. So here we have the first theme that I've called Expanded Stargate Connection, and that's exactly what it is. As you see here, the full moon in the chart is between the sun and the moon at 9 degrees of Sagittarius and Gemini, respectively. And the Stargate is aligned with Scorpius, Antares, and Taurus, Aldebaran there at 10 degrees of Sagittarius, Gemini, respectively. So this is a very powerful highlight of the Stargate. And often the Stargate, when it's engaged, it's involved in expansion of multidimensional messaging or soul travel and any multidimensional expansion that we are ready for here on Earth. So this full moon feels like an activation of higher consciousness because the Stargate is so highlighted at the Sagittarius full moon. We also have the full moon conjunct the great attractor at 14 degrees of Sagittarius as well. And that is because the galactic point, the great attractor, we apply about a 5-degree orb to that. And the archetypal energy of the great attractor is often integration. And we are all in a period of time now where we are integrating our universal connection, our multidimensional self, so that we can walk the talk and live from a bigger perspective. So the great attractor is here amplifying the energetic messages that comes out of this Sagittarius full moon as well. I've also highlighted Jupiter here, which is the ruler of this full moon, and at 23 degrees, almost 24 degrees here, conjunct Canis Minor Procyon. It is a powerful alignment that speaks of innovation and evolution, because Canis Minor Procyon is often linked into innovation, but also new spiritual technology. And that's often a marker for that there's an evolutionary energy going on anytime when Procyon is activated. It's very high frequency blue ray energy. So with Jupiter expanding that alignment, it is a archetypal energy of expansion and multidimensional universal connection. I wanted to highlight the Stargate here in a little different way than the constellation this time. I wanted to show you the size difference in terms of the celestial body size of Antares and Aldebaran here. And as you can see, the Antares size is much, much bigger than the sun. That is the smallest little dot on this chart. Antares here on this image, where you can see a little comparison between Antares, Betelgeuse, for example. And often when Antares is activated, it means also pure expansion. And it's just fun to contemplate the size of our sun versus Antares in this case, which is that brings perspective to this call for a bigger perspective on our lives here that we live in physical form. In this chart, we also see a prominent quincunx, which is a 150-degree aspect between the moon, and it's a 150-degree aspect here between the full moon and Mars at 9 degrees as well in Taurus there, conjunct Andromeda-Titawin at 8 degrees of Taurus. And this quincunx signals to us that we are a work in progress. And Andromeda-Titawin is often associated with the spiritual warrior and the journey to come into balance and harmony. And Andromeda-Titawin also is associated with boundaries and passion and inspiration. So Mars in alignment with Andromeda-Titawin and in quincunx with the full moon here and Antares is a suggestion to us that it is a journey to come into balance. And we are in a very intense period of time where we have lots of opportunity to reflect upon how our lives are perhaps not in harmony. And the work in progress type of energy that a quincunx often is helping with is giving us the guidance for this full moon. And Mars is activating that step forward that we are all ready to do now at this full moon in Sagittarius. We also have another quincunx, and that is the Sun at 9 degrees of Gemini in quincunx with asteroid Karma at 9 degrees of Sagittarius, conjunct Crux Acrux at 11 degrees of Scorpio. This is also a very interesting quincunx that tells us that there's a highlight at this full moon on our soul contract. The Sun in quincunx with asteroid Karma conjunct Crux Acrux is that the insights that we can gain from understanding our soul contract and our karmic load is invaluable. And the Sun highlighting that journey at the Sagittarius full moon is an important piece of information. Crux Acrux in conjunction with asteroid Karma here, pointing to that to be able to navigate through our soul contract, we are invited to work through that, through our emotional body rather than the mental body. And the emotional body gives us guidance on and mirrors often through relationships what we are here to shift our perspective on. And then we have a lot of aspects here pointing to Varuna in Leo there at 9 degrees of Leo. What I've done here is to really highlight all the alignments that are associated with the degree 9, which is a culmination degree as well. And Varuna, as you can see in this image of the chart, is very highlighted. We have a square from Mars to Varuna, for example. We have a trine from the full moon to Varuna. We have a T-square between Mars, asteroid Karma, and Varuna, and also a sextile from the sun to Varuna there. So Varuna is a dwarf planet in the Kuiper belt, and often I speak of Varuna as the putting your crown on your own head, and self-mastery is one of the keywords that I use for Varuna in Leo particularly. And with Varuna so highlighted here, very much in connection with both the moon, Mars, sun, and asteroid Karma here at this full moon, it's giving us guidance on that what we're really on is a journey to self-mastery. And I may go through this chart in a little bit more detail in the members-only video as well. So here we have Andromeda-Titawin that is at 8 degrees of Taurus. And I also wanted to bring in an image of Varuna here. You can tune into in terms of what it takes for self-mastery. And also Andromeda-Titawin that gives us great guidance with that conjunction with Mars around the journey of spiritual warriorship that often is of coming into more balance in alignment with harmony. So yes, the degree 9 is very much highlighted at this full moon, and number 9 is a culmination energy. So there is something here that has to do with our journey to self-mastery and our journey to come further into harmony and alignment with our unique soul essence, our multidimensional self that we are on this journey to uncover and align with further and closer to. And if we look at it in practical terms, it is really a journey of being transparent with who we are on the inside and that we can express it fully in the external world. And this is an important message for this Sagittarius full moon, which is a blue moon, a rare one. So think about what you have gone through in terms of your own journey since 2007, because this is also a conclusion, a culmination of that journey over 19 years. All right, are you ready for the second energetic theme that I've called A Time for Crossroads next? So here we have the second theme that I've called A Time for Crossroads. And what you'll see here, I've highlighted the nodal axis. The nodal axis, and I'm using the true alignment of the nodal axis, which is now at 3 degrees 45 minutes in Pisces and Virgo, respectively. And at 4 degrees of Virgo and at 4 degrees of Pisces, we find the royal star Fomalhaut. And the true north node here is definitely in alignment with Fomalhaut, and the south node is in opposition with Fomalhaut as well then. And what you also find is another asteroid that I've pulled in here that is almost exact conjunct the north node here at 3 degrees 30 minutes, and that is asteroid Hermes. And Hermes is someone we want to talk a little bit more about because asteroids provide us with archetypal descriptions of that energy. So anytime anything is aligned with the north node, it often provides us with the collective direction forward, and the asteroid bring in further nuance to that energetic description. We also have a T-square here with Ceres, dwarf planet Ceres at 0 degree of Gemini conjunct the Pleiades here. And we also have Sedna now at 1 degree of Gemini and also Uranus at 2 degrees of Gemini. So this little cluster here is significant. The Pleiadian collective, it has been highlighted here for a bit now. And with Ceres now hitting 0 degree of Gemini, This is where we are encouraged to integrate that abundance within. We have Uranus and Sedna and Ceres all direct. So that means also that we're asked now to bring our soul essence, our inner abundance out in the collective, out to share with others. And this T-square is very important because the nodal axis here coming closer to 3 degrees, 2 degrees, 0 degrees, it's going to hone in on that T-square with the Pleiades as well as we go into the next couple of weeks. As we know, the nodal axis will shift into Aquarius and Leo on July 26th. So this is an important T-square that we will keep an eye on. And at this Sagittarius full moon, we have Hermes there conjunct the North Node. And we're going to take a little closer look at Hermes shortly. So asteroid Hermes is a master of crossroads and also a messenger to integrate the conscious mind with the subconscious mind. So it's very much a integration energy that Hermes is guiding our way forward here, our North Node, the direction forward. Hermes also has to do with divine communication and crossing thresholds. So this connection that we have with the Stargate portal, we're crossing a threshold, and our direction forward is very much this blend between conscious and subconscious. We are asked to relate to our multidimensional self, which is part of our physical self, but also our non-physical self. And this is a very interesting alignment conjunction at the Sagittarius full moon, I feel. Fomalhaut is associated with Archangel Gabriel. Fomalhaut is often spoken of being associated with creativity, with leadership, but also communication, and often also linked into Archangel Gabriel and the deep creativity that Archangel Gabriel is associated with. So this combination is giving us guidance for the future and how to work with this Stargate energy and the threshold that we are walking through. And here on this image, you can tune into Fomalhaut. There is the blue and orange circle, which is an image taken out in the universe, but also how you can locate Fomalhaut in the sky there, the square of Pegasus. And also asteroid Hermes there is here walking the crossroad itself. So absolutely, this Stargate portal, we're engaging a crossroad as well. And this is also where so at this Sagittarius full moon, we're engaging a threshold, not only an expansion. And we are also invited to go deeper with how we view ourselves as a multidimensional being. It's so easy to just go on with our daily lives and the things we have to do practically. But this time, around May 31st, this full moon, each one of us is likely going to have an experience of a multidimensional nature in some form. And we don't have to look for it. You can't miss it when something is for you. So your invitation is to see something from a higher perspective and allowing the unseen signs and synchronicities and ways you are working with your subconscious and the unseen to come forward, because it may reveal insights to you that only you know that is meant for you to connect with now. All right, let's dive into energetic theme 3 that I've called a balancing act next. So here we have the third theme that I've called a balancing act. And here I want to highlight the square between Saturn there in Aries at 12 degrees in opposition with Corvus Algorab, and with Venus there at 14 degrees of Cancer now, conjunct Canis Major Sirius. And this is a significant square. It's actually a T-square with the Corvus Algorab there. This T-square is an invitation to finally go with and have courage to go with our inner calling, to go with our inner wisdom and allowing that inner wisdom to lead. And Venus conjunct Sirius here is a significant guidance around using our divine feminine qualities, such as receiving, listening, and allowing things to happen. Because Saturn square Venus here is a growth opportunity, as always, but Saturn is here to allow that to happen on an individual basis. Saturn in Aries is very much focused on the individual, more so than on the collective. We're all under scrutiny now by Saturn in Aries, and this square conjunct Venus and Ceres is an important guidance for allowing things to happen, allowing things to come to us. Because Corvus Algorab at 13 degrees of Libra in opposition with Saturn there is here to clear out any doubt or misalignment that we have in favor for using our Venus conjunct Ceres energy. So if you have any alignments around 11 to 14 degrees, I would say, and between Aries, Cancer, and Libra there, this is a important guidance towards using your intuitive abilities or deepening your intuitive abilities around this time, because it really is a guidance to tap in more to that Stargate energy. We are also going to dive deeper into in the members only video. In addition to this square, we have two very interesting oppositions in this chart. And it's Chiron now at 29 degrees of Aries, conjunct Andromeda galaxy, and in opposition with Shapley Attractor at 2 degrees of Scorpio. This opposition has been in place for a while, but it also is encouraging that multidimensional expansion and our hesitation for expansion beyond our physical realm. Chiron conjunct Andromeda galaxy is highlighting a collective culmination in our view of ourselves. Often as human beings, we see very rarely beyond our physical realm. But now we're culminating that invitation for expansion, and also amplified by a Shapley Attractor there at 2 degrees of Scorpio. Mercury, interestingly, is at 28 degrees of Gemini now. Mercury is highlighting Orion Betelgeuse there at 29 degrees of Gemini now, in opposition with the galactic center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. Mercury highlighting Orion Betelgeuse is also the call for being resilient with our journey and our path forward. But it's also a background similar to that opposition between Chiron and Shapley Attractor. Mercury, Orion Betelgeuse, and galactic center here is also a somewhat of a activation of that background frequency of resilience on this journey. But there's more. Here is where it gets a little complicated and also busy on the slides. So I have decided to bring some of the deep dive of this chart into the members only video that I've called Messages of Harmony. But what I've highlighted here is that square that we just talked about of Saturn and Venus conjunct Canis Major Sirius here. And also in addition, we have the two quincunxes we talked about earlier also forms oppositions. So this is getting really busy on the side, but there is a significant pattern here with a significant message that I'd like to dive deeper into in the members only video. Busy slide here. As you can see, we have a significant activation of oppositions here in this chart for the Sagittarius full moon. And that is often a call for harmonization, coming into balance. And that's what I want to explore a little bit more. And all of this is guided by this square between Saturn and Venus conjunct Ceres. So this is a very interesting pattern, because we are here at the Sagittarius full moon at this Stargate portal. And this is a significant time because as we move into the month of June, we're also going to come back to a tighter alignment on the minor grand trine between Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, which is going to last all the way into January 2027. And we're going to dive much deeper into the effects of this minor grand trine that we have experienced before, but now is back on track. This Sagittarius full moon feels like a preparation for the next 6 months to come. And we are in a Stargate portal, very significant time. And now is the time to allow those messages to come through you and trust your courage to go in the direction that your soul is guiding you. So I have a couple of questions. Should you want to integrate the Sagittarius blue moon, full moon in Sagittarius some more? The first question is, what area of your life would you benefit from having a higher perspective? And that is a very personal question, and I invite you to sit with it a little bit. It might be more than one area, but it's important at this time to allow a higher perspective on something that you may have felt a little stuck on, or that you feel a urge to expand on. Your soul already knows what this is, but it may be beneficial to sit with it and listen to those messages coming through, because there is a higher perspective on something available to you now. The second question is, what area of your life is at a crossroad right now? And you're inviting a new direction here at this Sagittarius full moon. And with the Hermes conjunction to the North Node here, it may be something that you have been weighing back and forth for a while. And what that is, only you know, but now is the time to commit to the direction forward, guided by what your soul is telling you. The third question is regarding this blue moon and the 19-year cycle since we had a blue moon in Sagittarius, and the 2-3 years since the last blue moon. What is something that you need more balance around in your life? And that could be anything, obviously, but now is a good time to think about what you would need to make decisions around to come into more harmony and balance. So those were the 3 questions. And I also have a limited special 30-minute reading available to be booked before May 31st or on May 31st. And it's called Stargate Blue Moon Reading. And this is a special reading that focuses on the impact of this Stargate alignment in your chart. So that might be something that you can get support for in applying these questions as well. So I invite you to take a look at the link in the pinned comment and description box below, should you want some more personal guidance from me at this Sagittarius full moon. And if you have any alignments, personal planets or angles around 8 to 10 degrees, this type of reading would be a great timing for you at this time. I'm Ulrika Sullivan. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening and watching New Light Living podcast. I'm an intuitive spiritual life coach and a galactic astrologer. I'm inviting you to my website, rikasullivan.com. Thank you very much. Bye.